Hi, this is MBTex. In the previous video, I showed you how to send emails through the Java Mail API. And in this video, I am going to show you how to send email using a Gmail API. In the Java Mail API, you could use this username and password here. You have to specify the protocol, you have to specify port, host, and other properties configured here. That's why if you put your correct email address here and password here with the correct host, you can see your email will be able to send. And this is the main configuration. Using a mail or a Gmail API, you don't need all of this because the algorithm for sending the email require an access token. The access token that you will include in your request to call an API request to the host, to the server that will be able to send your email. So you don't need all of this in the Gmail API, and you cannot, since May of 2022, you cannot send emails through Gmail account by using this Java Mail API because the less secure app technology was disabled from this May. The only way that you can send email is through a Gmail API if you want to use a Gmail account. Even if you have a Yahoo account, you could not send through this Java API because the less secure app technology have been disabled and you cannot send. What you are required in this in the servers is to log in through a Google prompt, or if you are logging into Yahoo or other server that don't support less secure app technology, because a less secure app technology allow you to log into your application through a username and password only, but since it has been disabled, now you could not use this Java API to send email through this technology of using username and password. Here we have to configure two things. We have to add API calls or dependencies that we will use to call the APIs, and we have to configure the credentials. The credentials you have to download we have to create an account in the Google Mail API or in the console. I'll show you here the link that you will use to create this credential. I will provide in the description. I'll provide in the description the link that you will use to get the credentials. But because I've created my credentials, I have to put in the resources here so that I will use it. And the video on how to create the credentials I will post, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. My friend, without wasting time, let's get started. Okay, because we are going not to use this, let me remove this, all of this, because we are going to use Google credentials. We don't need Java Mail API anymore. And the codes you can find in the code in the description that I provided the link to get the codes. The codes are like this. there is a credential here, get credential. We have a probably static credential class, credential method, or credential. This method is used to get the credential from Google, and after you obtain this credential, you will use the credential to call the API. And the API code here, I have to define if after it returns the credential, I have to put them here. This constructor is not needed anymore. I have to put here to call the APIs. Also, I have to define several attributes that this is no longer required. I have to define several attributes, like this attribute that I'm going to use. The application name is Gmail API. My friend, don't worry about these codes. You will download in the description that I have provided the link. Don't worry about these codes. I can import the classes automatically. JSON factory. Some classes are not imported because I have not declared the dependency in the POM file. I will add the classes manually, and we are going to use the code. I will explain the code, and you download in the link I provided in the description. Here, as you can see here, we have a credential. A credential here is a class that is used to obtain the access to the API, the access token, and save into your server. This credential return credential. This get credential method return a credential, and this credential will use to build a service, a Gmail service. Because we are going to use an API called Gmail, we will use the credential as you can see a get credential. Let me explain this one. Import stream gmail.quick get resources stream credential passes. I have defined the credential passes here. Credential pass is a credential.json. You have to download the credential and put here. In my computer, I have created the credential in the Google API, or the Google API. I have created the credential and have downloaded this one. If you download current secret, the named current secrets, I can copy this and I will paste here. The name is credential.json. Credential dot credential.json. Yeah. You have grant ID, you have project ID. You have also to define the credential path. And this function check if is not present in the path, it returns a class not found exception. File not found exception, resource not found. And Google grant credential. Because we are going to use Google, we will use the credentials that we obtain from Google, and this Google Client credential create Google Client secret, create client secret from this file input stream. This file create client secrets. The client secrets load just on this is just on factory is default defined here just on factory. So this I'll import this class. Also we have Google authorization code flow. This code flow define how the flow of codes, and in this you can see we have to define several variables like transport, we have JSON factory, and the client secret that we obtained from this Google client. We have to define also scopes, because we are going to send email. We have to use this scope gmail scope.mail.google.com. When you are calling an API, you have to specify also different scopes according to what Google API you are going to use. In this mail API, we are using Gmail scopes. You have to put in the scope. We have to set data source, and the algorithm or the steps that is performed by this action is to get credentials if are not present in your directory. If are present, it will use it. That way I have specified the access type is set access type is offline, and this create a file automatically called create a directory called the token credentials, and as is specified here, token directory called token. If I run this program, you can see some directory created here called the token. This directory is for storing the token, because your server will require to call the API several times, and this token will be saved into your server. This file is for token saving. After you have created a flow, you have a local server receiver, a new local server receiver to rebuild your server. This defining a receiver for the response if it require to get an access token if we are not saved in your directory, or if you want to get refresh token, this receiver, a local receiver, will receive the response. And you can set port according to what you want or depending on which port is free in your computer. If you don't specify this port, this function or this method will select automatic a port which is available free, and the credentials will be created through this a flow. Here in the credentials we pass two parameters, a flow and a receiver. A flow will be used to check if some access token or credentials found in your server. If are not found, it will recall this builder to call the API to get the access token and save the credentials, and this receiver will be used if there is no stored credentials. If there is stored credentials, this receiver is not working. That will be specified into credential. And authorized method return the credential. After this credential is returned, now we are using this credential to call the API. Without this credential, you could not call any API, because this credential is used to build your service. For instance, a Gmail service, we call a gmail.builder, we pass an HTTP transport, we pass a JSON factory, and we pass a credential that we call parameter transport, and set the application name. You can set the application name as according to what you want your application name to be, and you finally call a build method to return a service, and this service we use to send the we have to define here. For instance, I'm going to send a message, a subject text message. I'm going to send message text, hello, I want to read your document. I have to define the properties here. This properties has nothing inside because everything is specified in this Gmail API. After you obtain the credentials, everything will be used and nothing you require, such as port, host, username, password, encryption. You don't require. You have to define an empty properties. You have also to define a session because the session is used to encode. We are encoding the message session. You get a default. You have to call this message. You have to define this. You have also to, if you want to use a helper to send email, you can define a message helper. If you want to send email through message only, you can use this message. But if you want to send through message helper, you have to use this. You have to set the file. You have also to put, for instance, I want to send email from this account because I'm going to authorize an account that is going to send email. I have to put an email address which will be required to authorize to send the email, and I'm going to send emails to if I don't set this from okay, I can put another email here that is going to be authorized. Oh, I will ignore this one because the email is sent through the API. Set subject here. I can set a subject here. I can put the subject here. I've defined it here and the top. We have also to encode here and wrap the main message into a Gmail message. We have to define a buffer. We have to write to a buffer. We have to convert a buffer into arrays, and we have to encode this because the request is sent through a URL. We have to encode this into a base 64 URL message. A base 64 URL message will be sent, and it will be decoded at the receiving server. Message was set raw. After you set the raw, then you will call here, because I'm going to return a message. I use the service that I build and specify users. This method I have to specify also messages because I'm going to send a message. Different methods are available, but I'm going to use this message method dot send. Put this me because in the label it is me who is sending the email, so put here me and put the message that is encoded and wrapped and say execute. This execute may return a message, and I want to print the message ID. I want to print the string value of a message if it is sent, but if it fail, it print an error. Say print. After I've explained this code, I'm going to send now. Let me import the classes that are required.